I've recommended M4S to a number of former colleagues and friends. And to me, it's anyone who's got an organization that feels like it's spinning its wheels, that feels like it's stuck in neutral, that feels like they're working their tail off and not moving forward. Anybody who is in a situation that has more than 3 employees that really needs to get on the same page. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at CHIPSA Hospital in Playas de Tijuana, Mexico. I'm also the CEO of the North Beach Clinic. When I first came to CHIPSA, one of the most striking issues was the lack of trust that existed amongst the leadership team. And it was a difficult thing for me to get to the bottom of and to really understand what the source or the genesis of that distrust was among the leaders. Working closely with Avik and his team over time, one of the things we've done is really moved to where the team is more unified. They understand that they're in this together, and it really comes from the notion of what is the CHIPSA First team. You're not necessarily the head of your department at the exclusion or at the expense of everyone else. You're an integral part of a bigger team. For the first 6 months of my tenure here, I probably spent a good 40% of my energy at the hospital diffusing tension and trying to get to the bottom of what the real issue was, trying to make a determination about whether or not somebody was being positional or whether somebody was really raising a legitimate issue that was worthy of the team's time to investigate, to get to the bottom of, and then solve. The fact that I don't spend 40% of my time and the team doesn't spend 40% of its time trying to discern whether or not these issues are legitimate allows us to move things much more quickly. There's a sense of camaraderie and a sense of unity and really a perpetuation of what it means to be a healing institution. It's very difficult to care for patients who are in a very difficult physical and health space when you've got people that don't trust each other. And so I think that not only does it advance the interests of the business, it makes our product, our deliverable to our patients, that much greater because people aren't worried about guarding their turf. They're worried about how do we make the team better. I've been in leadership positions at a number of different organizations, and what I found is that we would have our annual meeting or our quarterly meeting, and in those meetings everybody comes up with some really amazing goals and some plans and some strategies that they want to implement in the next quarter or in the next year. But what happens invariably, at least in my experience, is people get back to the office and they get overwhelmed with the day-to-day activities of what they need to do. So setting this out the way that M4S does, where you've got very defined goals, rocks, which are big goals or issues that are difficult to move, they have to take some time, and then you have a multitude of milestones that exist underneath that rock to help accomplish that rock that then leads to the accomplishment of the bigger goal. The fact that they are specifically spelled out at the beginning of the quarter, there's a deadline by when those milestones need to be completed, and then to have checkups with those milestones, with those owners of those milestones every week, it makes it so this never goes away. This isn't something that gets planned at an annual or a quarterly meeting and then ceases to exist in functionality or in focus. It's something that we really focus on every single week. One of the great things about the 7-day weekly meeting is that it really focuses what needs to be done. It's a standardized agenda that works in every single meeting across the enterprise. So whether it's something that I'm running from an interdisciplinary team where every head of department is there, or whether I go to one of those sub-departments and look at how they run their meeting, I could fill in any one of the meetings anywhere in the hospital at any time. They happen on the same day, every week, they happen at the same time, and they all follow the same format. And because of that, there's a predictability of it. As an organization who goes out and hires somebody like M4S, you're acknowledging and you're putting a budget line item on the fact that it is valuable to have somebody hold everyone in the organization accountable. And the amount of money that you spend to do that is a reflection of how much that matters to you. I know our results are better than I could ever hope to accomplish on our own.